Okay, in relation to the reserves, because they failed to go into hasty square, they go staggered because they were fresh. If they'd already been staggered and failed, they would have went they fight with their disordered morale. Now the land we're going to try a volley. So with the musketry fire, they need basically a 5 or 6 to get a hit. If they get a hit, that will force the Grenadiers of Cheval back a quarter of an inch back off, and they'd take a hit. However, because they're segregated, they don't get a +1 most people get for a point blank volley, so it's only a 30%, 33% chance of a hit. Nope. So they failed this to hit the Grenadiers, who then close in, and then I'll do the rest of the movement, the rest of the table, and I'll come back to this as a melee example. Okay, after movement, it's on to musketry phase, which starts with skirmisher fire. So here we have some Prussian Jaeger and Prussian Jaeger are both going to fire on this advancing unit. Skirmishers basically roll 1 dice. Up to 6 inches, they require 5 or 6 to hit. The first hit causes stagger. So from this unit will roll, and they roll 6. Okay, and the second unit will roll, and they roll a 4. So the 6 causes a stagger, okay, and then the second hit, because there's already a stagger and it's equal in their MR, will cause a kill. So I'll take them up to 3. Quite effective skirmishing fire there. What I should have said there is skirmishing fire falls first, so any hits or staggers that occur from skirmishers take effect before normal volley fire. All firing simultaneous, so you take effects on both sides. So this French unit is just staggered. It's going to fire back on a skirmish unit. So basically they're rolling dice. Oops. They roll a 3, which for volley fire isn't effective. Okay. 6 would cause 2 kills. 1 hit would take off the skirmishers. However, they failed. They missed, so I'll just mark them as having fired, just for the purposes of the video. Now, just beyond them, we have, turn this around slightly, we have another 2 French line battalions have come up against Jaeger and Grenadiers. So they can mutually exchange, well, the front ones can mutually exchange volleys with each other. So we'll roll for the French first. So they roll a 5 against the Jaeger. The Jaegers are morale 5, so that staggers them and gives them 1 kill, which we'll just mark with our ubiquitous dice. Okay, but they will fire back without any of those hits because it's a simultaneous firing. So we'll do the Jaegers first. They roll a 6, which equals 2 kills on the French, and then we'll fire the Grenadiers beside them, who roll a 2, which is a miss. So these guys take a stagger for equaling their things, and then they took 2 hits. So they're halfway to being destroyed, essentially. And we mark these 2 as having fired. You don't have to do this, but it looks better for the video. Plus I like a lot of smoke on the battlefield. Okay, we'll now do the melees here in the middle. So we have the Polish Lancers charging against the Prussian square, as was formed. Now that means the Prussian Lancers now fight on a 2. So they have a basic factor of 2. The Prussians are regulars, so they have a basic factor of 4. I'll just put those there so we can see the dice rolls. So we'll roll for the Polish Lancers. They roll a nice 4. They're not staggered. Cavalry never counts support. They weren't charged against everybody that failed the volley, which would give them a plus. They don't have any kills. They don't have any greater width. Cavalry in line gets more against cavalry or in column, things like that. They are Lancers, however, so first, it's an optional rule, but I like to use it. So they get a +1, it'll take them up to 5. And there's really nothing else for them. For the Prussians then, they're on the basic, sorry, that should be that one. They're on the basic 4. And a 6. They're not staggered, nothing like that, so they're going to win that combat 10-7, which is 3, which means it'll be 3 hits on the cavalry, who will also be blown at the end of it, and they will take a fallback, which means they're going to retire 12 inches, which is about there. So they'll fall back. They'll have to test morale at the end of the turn. If they fail, that's them destroyed, like a major morale break. But being morale either 5 or 6, they shouldn't have too much of a problem. Okay, here we have the Chasseurs of Val. Now, they're on MR5, so I hope I'm getting this right. They're 5s. The Prussians are a mere 3, being second reserves, so the Chasseurs roll a 1. It's not good. And the Prussians roll a 5, which is pretty good. Now, the Chasseurs are up fighting on their first sense. They're on a 6, they're on an 8, but their less 1 for the stagger is down to a 7. So it's 7-6, so still lost. So you can see, depending on your rolls, well, that was like a 6-1, but it's going to be 1 hit on the Chasseurs. Again, they're going to be blown at the end of combat and they have to fall back, which is a risky test. Okay, so they will again fall back 12 inches or so. Okay, with their 1 hit. That's a rather lucky reserve unit there. And then the last one, the French are on 6 basic. They're on a mere 3. Now, they did have a failed volley because they tried to shoot them off and it didn't work. So these guys will be on a +1, so they rolled 6, of course. But the best they can do then. And these other guys are on a mere 3, so they're obviously going to lose no matter what they roll. Okay, so even if they were against another cavalry unit, they're going to massively beat them. That's 13 against 4. But because it's infantry and they're beaten by cavalry, these infantry will be annihilated and lifted off, which will allow a breakthrough charge for these boys. Now what happens when they rout anybody within a 4-inch rout range they're in, basically they burst through them, so that will essentially stagger these ones. You can see what's probably going to happen here at the end of this turn. Okay, and that's the melee again, so I have other melees to do, but we'll just stick with this one to show it since it's sort of isolated anyway. So after all the melees were resolved across the table, actually I don't think I have any others, it was all shooting, and they've performed their fallbacks, which you can see here with these chaps. These two units have fallen back, and we'll have to test. So it's breakthroughs, recalls and countercharges. Countercharges are basically elite infantry can countercharge any other infantry that they've pushed back. Infantry can never charge cavalry in this. A recall is where these chaps could decide to recall in place now, or recall 12 inches back, but for the which would probably be a good thing to do because they're going to be flanked here by some oncoming Russian cavalry. So I think that's what they'll do. I think it happens now. You can either basically rally in place or rally back and walk it back onto the hill. They will be blown, however, having taken part in a melee. Okay, which will probably save the Prussian Lombard cavalry because they would have probably been minced by being only grade 3 second rate against the Grenadiers. However, going into that den of wolves probably wouldn't have been a good idea. So that gives us a good chance to show what happens then in the command phase, and essentially that's the last part of the turn. So you change orders and send your IDCs with the orders to your other brigadiers. So you want to rally and reform units. So big rules for these boys. So basically to checks morale and the fallback unit fails, it would basically die. So we'll roll for the Chasseurs. A nice 2, so they turn around, they're basically reforming. It's like I suppose in WRG terms it would be a rally, it was a rally back essentially. Okay, for the Polish Lancers, they're okay, 4, so again they're going to reform. Well, they have taken a fair bit of damage. Okay, with their 3 hits. And then all blown cavalry will have to spend a turn doing nothing to recover from being blown, otherwise the fight basically -1s or disordered morale, I can't remember which it is. So that's essentially that. So again, what we would do, just show for the rest of the team, the Landwehr cavalry just took a stagger because the broken Landwehr within 4 inches. We'll roll to try and remove the stagger, so they need a 1 to 3. Yep, so that takes our stagger off. Roll a nice 1 there. The reserve infantry were just charged again, needing a 1 to 3. Nope, so they keep their stagger. You can't remove staggers from within 6 inches of the enemy, of enemy formed units, so I need to measure this one, but those two are within 6 inches of each other, so now those two will be able to attempt to recover their staggers. Same here, there'll be no stagger recovery, and I'll have to check out over there. That's basically a turn of Shako. Sadly, I'm going to have to clear this game up because I'm getting ready for a game on Saturday, 7 Years War with Stephen. He's coming here, so that was Shako. Quite enjoyable, as you can see. French are getting pushed back in this wing, so it's going to expose their infantry. However, they are pushing hard over towards the village, although they have taken a loss there, and it's pretty much a cavalry standoff on that side. So far, the Prussians have lost a Landwehr, a reserve unit, and a battery of guns. The French have lost 4 skirmishers and 1 unit of light troops. But as I say, there are a few losses, so there's some. For instance, this unit here is on 3 hits, 1 more hit, and that'll be them gone. They're only morale 4. Prussian guys on the hill, like taking R2s and morale 5 being grenadiers. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. If I'm playing something else, I'll maybe give it another go on the video. Cheers now.